Welcome, everybody, to Glaze Game Gestures, episode 11. I decided to go over my Neo Geo Mini. I got the original box. Got my Neo Geo Mini right here. It comes with stickers in the box. Makes it look a little more official, kind of like an arcade cabinet. Super cool, I think. It's got the King of the Monsters sticker on the back with the original Neo Geo logo, like how it has right here and right here. It's got 40 built-in games. It's essentially just a tabletop arcade emulator, and it's a lot of fun. Admittedly, I don't feel like I play it enough. And it has external ports that you can hook up to the TV with a USB Neo Geo clicky controller. And the controllers, I'd like to get them so I can play it on the TV, but the controllers are like $30, $40 alone. So that's why I've just been like, I'm just going to stick with this. And I mean, it does its job. I know the buttons are switched compared to the actual controller as well as an actual arcade cabinet. And it takes a little bit of getting used to. I think the international one looks a little cooler as well as, the Japanese one, because there's colored buttons rather than just plain Jane gray, but it works. I like the joystick. I know a lot of people have complaints, but I think it's very responsive. I have no complaints here. It's smooth. I like it. Admittedly, I don't feel like I played enough as I probably should. I probably got it like a year ago, I think online for like $60. It has a micro HDMI, so you hook it up to the TV, to HDMI. Same thing, if you want an official Neo Geo micro HDMI to the HDMI, it's like $30 to $50 for a cord, and I'm like, I'm just gonna plug it in and play right here on my desk, which I do. And then to save it and stop it and like save state and all that, you click start select together. I know that you can hack these things, and I can't remember the name of the company that, or I guess little URL, if you will, website online that you pop off these little rubber tabs. There's like a little screw right here and like a little tiny like black button, and you have to hold the button while it's plugged in, and then you press the on button, it goes into your computer. But the only drawback with that is it's like a set ROM set. You can't artificially put what it is that you would like to put on here. Granted, it does have Cadillacs and Dinosaurs, which I would like to play. I would also like to watch the TV series from 93 to 95, I think was the era, give or take. It was like 13 episodes long. Looked super cool, super goofy, something I'm into, like Gargoyles or Mighty Ducks or Biker Mice from Mars, that kind of deal. But anyway, and it's interesting, a lot of those cartoons, they actually ended up making video games and vice versa. Earthworm Jim, the game came out, and then they made the cartoon series for like a year. And I think that was also like 26 episodes, something like that. A lot of those short-lived video game cartoons were only 26 episodes. Glaze Game Gestures, they need to bring those back. I have spoken. Anyway, at least the cartoons, and maybe some of those games like revamped or something on the Switch would be pretty cool. Anyway, before I decide to break this thing by accident, a lot of cool games. It's got Metal Slug, the original one's right here. King of Fighters, the original. I'm really not a big fighting game fan. King of Fighters 2 is super cool because it's more or less like a beat 'em up. I like progression in my fighting games. I like that you can get weapons and build up levels and fight different bosses rather than just strictly, although there are the exception to the rule. I do enjoy Tekken, Street Fighter, and the original Mortal Kombat, maybe Primal Rage. Okay, so maybe I like some fighting games, but for the most part, no. I mean, I have played a lot of these like Samurai Showdown and King of Fighters. It's really cool. I love that like 16-bit like Marvel vs. Capcom, Marvel vs. SNK kind of look, and this thing is pretty dang cool. And I'm trying to remember for the life of me. I think it's like Shinon Nippon. SNK is definitely an acronym. I can't remember what the K stands for. I'm losing my mind right now, but super cool. I mean, Blues Journey is pretty enjoyable. Magician Lord's kind of cool. It's a very slow-paced like action platformer with magic involved. Shock Troopers is like an isometric kind of view of like Metal Slug. I believe it's over here in the middle. Super cool. I really enjoy that one. Cross Swords is also a really cool game. What else we got on here? I could care less about the sports games. I don't even think I've turned them on. Puzzled is enjoyable. I hate to reference Tetris, but it's something similar to that caliber. Ghost Pilots is a really cool vertical shooter, and then Last Resort is also a shooter, as well as a Blazing Star. Blazing Star is a horizontal shooter. Neo Geo is definitely known for, at least in my opinion, it's shooters and it's fighting games. Although it does have its run and gun, like I said, Shock Troopers as well as Metal Slug. I mean, this thing's it's really fun. I love the colors on it, the original box, super, super cool. I was stoked when I got it. I mean, it just sits right there on my little game cabinet. I have the USB-C right here in my desk drawer. Sometimes I'll just plug it in if I'm like, all right, I got 10 minutes or a couple minutes before I got to go do something. I'm like, all right, I'll save it and I'll turn it off. I mean, it's so nice that it's handy. It has the save states. I would like to hack it at some point, but it's a process to like undo that and hook it up to the computer and that, or I'm just not necessarily familiar with that particular technology. But, you know, and it's super cool that it has the original SNK logo on there. The fact that you can put headphones in there. You know, SNK and Neo Geo were like arcade cabinets from like the early 90s, and then I remember they had the console, and the console's cartridges are like, you know, that is half as the size of the box, and those cartridges are up there. Anything Neo Geo City, super, super cool, like way ahead of its time, but their pricing is, I feel like, what really set them down. That was their downfall. I feel like along with like Sega Saturn, you know, the pricing was just through the roof, especially for the 90s. You know, maybe nowadays people could afford it, but I mean, I can't afford it. I guess call me poor. But anyway, at least I got good taste, I like to say, but poor in the factor of financial gain. But anyway, Neo Geo Mini, I don't feel like it gets enough love. I'm missing my my PlayStation Mini, although I've never had one, so I can't be really missing it. I am missing a PlayStation Mini to complete my mini set. Well, along with a TurboGrafx Mini, I would love to have that thing, or a Core Graphics Mini, or even a PC Engine Mini, or even all three. But you know, it comes down to that. But super cool machine. I think it's underrated. It would be really cool if I could do the ROM set on there. But I know it's like Mario and stuff, but who doesn't have like 8 copies of Mario or whatever, you know, Mario game? Nothing against Mario, of course. It's Mario, you know. But I mean, it's cool that I can make it look like an original kind of like cabinet. I think that's really, really cool that they went with it like that. And, you know, they even got the stenciled in, like, SNK logo. I think it's a really cool, smart, like, just really well pixelated screen that shows up. The sound on here is really cool. It's really easy to control the volume. I mean, it's a really easy desktop arcade cabinet to utilize at any given moment in time. Just like the NES or the SNES Mini, you just plug it in for a little bit, save state, turn it off. It's essentially the same thing, but, you know, calibered towards SNK Neo Geo games. But you know, a lot of fun on this thing. Like I said, 40 different games, a lot of Samurai Showdown, a lot of fighting games, couple of beat 'em ups, definitely like 3 or 4 shooters, and you have all the Metal Slugs. Granted, you know, you can never have enough Metal Slug. It's essentially the same thing every time, but it kicks ass. It's like Contra, but SNK's Contra. You know what I mean? Anyway, that's my look on the Neo Geo. This thing's a lot of fun. I'm happy I have this thing. I need to delve more time into this and maybe do a little game capture on this. But anyway, have a good night. Thanks for the support.